Assalamu alaikum. Hey everybody. Again, another live stream, this time on Sunday. We're keeping it real. Hopefully, some of you will stop by and we can chat for a while. So, how's your weekend? What's going on? I would love to hear from you. Where are you from? Let me know if this stream works, if you can hear me, and we can get into it. The theme of today is living as a Muslim, whether revered or born in a non-Muslim country. We'll get into that a bit later. So thank you guys for tuning in. It's Sunday. Tomorrow we have to go to work, probably, most of us. So this is a chill day, but already in the back of my mind, I'm thinking about tomorrow. Let me know, how are you? Where are you from? Who's tuning in? I've prepared a lemonade. Well, I haven't, my wife did, but I'm drinking it. And I got some coffee so we can go through this, inshallah. Hey, what's up, Ahmed? Salam from Egypt. Which part of Egypt are you from? Let me know. So, I'm just going to kind of recap what happened to me this week. And maybe you can do the same in the comments. Anyways, last Sunday, we had a protest in front of, in like a main square here in Prague to support Palestine. And I almost got into a fight. So this week was pretty crazy. There was a sort of a drunk guy who was harassing people. So I had some physical contact with him, but it didn't escalate in a fight. There was a police that came and handed it. But it was really strange to felt that and to be in that situation. So that's how my Sunday started last week. And then this week was all about sports for me. I played tennis after some time. We played football with the Ummah here. And then we've done, I had a team building with my company. And we did volleyball for like 3 hours. It's very warm here in Prague. It's like 34 degrees Celsius. I don't know what's that in Fahrenheit, but it's unbearable to go outside. That's how warm it is. So yeah, it's pretty intense weather. And yeah, a ton of things happened in the business. And I did some road trip yesterday into the southern Czech Republic where we had some nice vacation. So that's all that happened. Salam alaikum, Sahil. You're from Cairo. That's awesome. Would love to go there. I wanted to go to Egypt this year to do some road trip, but maybe next or maybe some other time. Anyways, the book I'm reading right now, Muhammad, his life based on the earliest sources. Now, if you guys don't know, this is a really good book, and go ahead and grab it. This book is really good for you if you don't have a lot of background into basically how the bloodline of Muhammad, peace be upon him, came to be. And he talks about really everything. Just in the beginning, I just got like through the first 30 pages. And he talks about his mom, his dad, his whole family, grandfather, Abraham, and everybody basically. And it's really cool. And it really gives you a lot of context into Islam and everything. So like this is the tribe of Quraysh. I don't know if you can see it here. This is the family tree. And there's Muhammad, I think, somewhere here. Where is he? Here. This is Muhammad. And that's the tribe of Quraysh. And this is the map of Saudi. Well, not Saudi. This is the map of the Bani, map of Arabia. There's different Jewish tribes. Beni, they are called Beni Sulaim, Beni Tawi, Beni Talb. Then there's, different tribes. So it's really good book. So grab it. The book is named Muhammad. Very easy to remember. His life based on the early sources. It's really great. It's a lot of names that I'm not gonna remember in this book because there's like just his grandfather had 15 kids. So I'm not gonna catch all the names or remember them, but it's really good to kind of give context to what was his mother like, what was his father like, why did he die, how did they behave around Kaaba at that time. Very good book. Recommend it because I've read the one before. So go ahead and check it out. Hey, what's going on, Almas? Hey, Karel. Nice to see you here. Anyways, all right, so I did record an interview with Fadia, who's a Palestinian who lives in the Texas. She's part of the American Muslim Society, and that's going to be airing, I believe, tomorrow. And yeah, I have another one prepared with Almir Kolan, who is a financial advisor, a Muslim from Australia. He's an expert on Islamic banking. You can Google him. He has a ton of lectures on YouTube as well. We're going to talk about riba and the prohibitions in Islamic banking. So that's going to be interesting. Anyways, let's talk about something real. And that's living in a non-Muslim country. Now, how many of you live in a non-Muslim country? So I guess there's somebody from Egypt, somebody from India. India is technically secular, right? But how many of you live in a non-Muslim country, or how many of you have actually traveled to a non-Muslim country? Let me know in the comments. Would love to know that. So the biggest problem here in summer, do you know the biggest problem? The biggest problem is women, man. They dress like they don't even wear any clothes here. So especially with these temperatures now here, it's 34 degrees Celsius. All the women on the streets, they just wear like these tiny things around their breasts or their whatever, and it's getting pretty crazy. Just looking, you go outside, you have to like go like this because you can't look anywhere. I don't know what's your experience, guys, but let me know how that works in your country. If it's really hot, the women take off their clothes or not, and everybody's just wearing shorts. You can see everything. It's pretty messed up. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? It's just something I think many Muslims in Europe or US experience. And even as a non-Muslim, I was just like, this is crazy. Let me know what do you think about these women wearing nothing outside if it's hot, and it's very difficult to look away. Very difficult. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's right in front of your face everywhere. So you just kind of like have to breathe in and out. I've been reading about how men are really weak and unintelligent when it comes to their sexuality, and I think that's, of course, correct. And I think this is like clear that men have much more sexual drive than women. There's some science around that. We can talk about it, but that's also the reason why men should just cover, let's say, their head or something and be more lower their gaze, because they are easily trapped by these things more than women. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear that, because that's something in the summer here, man. It's gonna get crazy. And you just have to lower that gaze. But that's the biggest battle for me this week. Just all the girls, everybody's just wearing nothing almost on the street, and it's kind of it gets into you. Some subconsciously you're like thinking about it, or you're just, I don't know, it's in your head. Yeah, so if you're a man, let me know if I am correct or if I'm just making this up and you feel like you can, this doesn't bother you, this temptation, it's okay. Anyways, let me look at some comments. I suggest you to travel to Egypt. Let me know what's the situation there. I have some friends from Egypt. Would love to go there. I'm going now to Istanbul, but I'll be in Egypt hopefully in the future, inshallah. And yeah, would love to go to Alexandria, actually. Check out the library. Live in the UK. Nice. So Almas is living in the UK, and British Muslim obviously lives in the UK. So guys, you from the UK, what's the situation there in the summer? How do women dress? Do you see how the society changes and how women get almost naked, or is that not true in the UK? Let me know. All right, let me check. I was in Dubai last year, same problem. Yeah. So how do you deal with this? Like, if you see this happening and you feel like you're sort of like just like one guy against this tsunami of not sin, but just like jahiliya, like what do you do? Like, I had a team building and a lot of girls we were playing volleyball with. they had nothing on, almost just like tank top and everything, and it was very difficult to kind of navigate that. Anyways, I have a video from my entire day of team building that I've put together that I'm gonna put on YouTube probably later this week, so it's gonna be good. But yeah, that's one thing. Salam alaikum, Said. That's one thing. That's one struggle. I mean, this is just purely my thing. So we can talk about different things, but yeah, that's one major thing in the summer. So let me know in terms of, being a Muslim. If you live in a non-Muslim country, non-Muslim society, have you actually lived in like a big diaspora? Let's say in the UK, I believe you have large neighborhoods of Muslims. So do you live in the neighborhood with, hundreds and thousands of Muslims around you, where you kind of feel at home and you have, halal shops, everything's kind of, it's a kind of a small Islam world? Or do you live like in integrated within the society and you're kind of an outsider? Let me know, because I'm talking from a perspective of just a guy, random guy, like a local who accepts Islam, and now I'm just kind of like randomly here. I know there's a couple of guys here like me, and how do you live in such a society? Because I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it is possible, obviously. It's just how. Then I'm always thinking about how can I change the society, not by force, but how can I maybe improve some things in this society so that it is easier to live here as a Muslim. So I don't know. Let me know if you have anything like that. British Muslim. I feel sorry for them. They're being objectified without knowing it, or excuse it by calling it empowerment. Right. Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Because women know that if they take their clothes off, like, men will look at them, so they will get men's gaze, and that's the power that they have over us generally. Like, they can make you do anything if you let them. And some women get addicted to that feeling of, men looking at them as the object of sex. And so it's very addictive for a woman as well to use that power, but she doesn't realize that men are just kind of like limping, not limping. What would I call this? They are just kind of like thinking about just sex with her. There's nothing more. It's just like this crazy desire, and it's not really, I would say, healthy. Now the problem becomes when you tell a woman, hey, you should cover up, or you should be more conservative, because you're attracting these types of guys. Like everyone, maybe you're attracting some nice guys, but you're in between those nice guys, there will be some crazy ones who will stalk you, who will look at you, who will go after you, and who will think about you all the time. And then that can have consequences. I'm not talking about rape, but just generally really bad consequences when they go out and just stalk you and call your number all the time. It's really invasive, and I hate saying this, that it's your fault, because it's not just your fault. It's obviously the guy's fault. But that as a Muslim, that a woman is an object of beauty. A man is not an object of beauty, but a woman is. It should be protected. So if you remove that protection and you just kind of let it out there, that beauty is going to attract all sorts of men, or maybe even women. I don't know. And it's going to create a problem in the long term. Maybe it feels great if somebody desires you. Maybe that's a great feeling. If I have that feeling, it's awesome. Like, hey, I'm the boy, I'm the dude. But it generally creates long-term effects that are not great. So as a woman, you have to be very careful. And I understand the protection from Islamic point of view, from your brothers, your uncles, your father, who should be protecting you and safeguarding you from all these things. And then it's very easy to slip up and being exploited for your beauty, starting with maybe some photo modeling, Instagram, and then going into porn, going into erotic movies, and then slowly, you're being objectified. And your soul gets decreased over time. Anyways, that's what I'm feeling, and that's what I think. But maybe my thoughts are wrong. So let me read through the comments, because I was just explaining something. Yes, we accepted that women are being objectified. True. Zakaria is saying, I'm living in Malaysia for the past 6 years. Various races. Chinese dress almost naked. Overall, the country is good with roughly 60% Malay Muslims. Chinese dress almost naked, really? In terms of women or men? Let me know. I've heard in Malaysia there's a ton of expats also from the West. I would love to check it out. What do you do in Malaysia? Are you from Malaysia? Let me know, Zakaria. Ahmed, I live in a predominantly Christian area. How many Christians are in Egypt? That would be great to understand, so that I have some context. Abdullah, what's going on? I live in the UK. A lot of people in the UK watch this stream. What's going on? Lots of Muslims in my time. In my town, usually the people who hate Muslims here are just ignorant or have personal issues, but the majority is too busy with their own lives. Good stuff, good stuff. How big is the town? Are you living in the London, or do you live in some small town on the outskirts? Man, the UK really is strange, because they even have like a giant mosque, which is more bigger than some mosques in Muslim countries. And there's many Muslims in the UK. Like, I don't know how many. Let me Google. I'll Google it later, but I guess it's like minimum 3 million. 3 to 5 million Muslims must be there, right? Maybe even more. So that's like a population of Slovakia. And yeah, if you kind of take that population and make your own kind of little world in that country, I think that can work. And I don't think UK will ever be a Muslim country, but it can be a country which accommodates Muslims pretty well, which integrates them and not assimilates, not change their culture or laws or something, but incorporates them in the society. I don't think that they should, I don't think there's going to ever be a case where it's like an autonomous unit, something like in Russia, where you have these republics of Dagestan and Chechnya, and they have Islam, Sharia law guiding them, but the overall country is a federation of Russian republics. I don't think that's ever going to happen in the UK, that like these Muslims are going to get together and just separate, but I think they can live within the country pretty well. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm just a guy on YouTube. You also have to understand that women dresses in skimpy dress is an attempt to emasculate men. Emasculate men. What do you mean by that? You mean by so that we kind of perceive them as this object, and we know that we can't have them because of modern societal standards. So then we go back home, we type in porn something, and we go and do the dirty business. You think that? Maybe. Yeah, maybe that's the thing, because like if you all day long, let's say you watch dirty movies or porn, and then you go out with your friends, with your colleagues, and you just kind of live your normal life. You go to work out, but you see these women everywhere, and your idea of them or from the videos is messed up, and so you were always kind of like full of kind of this crazy desire. So it's very difficult to build any sort of relationship with a woman. Just like saying hi to anyone in the store, I'm just like a cashier or something, you will be like weirded out by that, right? So it creates this crazy barrier, and so if you have like a woman who is wearing hijab, or she's clearly dressed up, then I don't feel bad just like talking about something. Or I haven't spoken to a lot of Muslim women, obviously, but the ones who I talk to, generally, I think there was a father with her or something. We just kind of said something. We didn't shake hands. Obviously, she knows why. I know why, and we just talked. I saw a husband of her, and blah blah blah, and it's just kind of like a good exchange, but it doesn't apply in like a non-Muslim context. This exchange. So difficult stuff. My area is diverse in the UK, almost, I believe. There is a lot of Muslims, but also Christians and atheists, and they can influence you. Okay. Nice one. Oh, well, yeah, I think so. But just the fact that you have Muslims, dude, and like whoever is living in the UK is so lucky. It's like if I had any Muslims, I have one Muslim on the street, I think. I saw her in her hijab, but there is a community of a few thousand Muslims here, but we don't get together for anything than Jummah. And then there's a small ummah that we call each other where we hang out. It's 5, 6, 7, 8 guys. But there's nothing like, it's not like we have any community really built where we have a specific agenda, what we want to achieve. We have some sort of lifestyle. We have a neighborhood. Everybody's kind of spread out and do their own thing, and so it's not like that. And this kind of leaves you thrown out into like the jungle, and then you meet once a week or twice a week and just kind of exchange ideas, but you're basically on your own. And at work you're on your own, you're the only Muslim usually. If you go to a store, you're on your own, you're the only Muslim. So there are some halal shops, but it's more difficult. So if you live in an area where you have Muslims, Christians, and atheists, that's fine, but at least you have Muslims. I have no Muslims here. If we had like a Muslim neighborhood, that would be like amazing. We would have like shops there, we would have all these things, but that I think is only the case if you have like immigrant Muslims who come and set these things up, maybe in the future, inshallah. But it's just great to have that if you have it, so don't take it for granted. Oh, Ridwan, it's like we are naked, but you can't touch us. Right. I understand what you mean. Yeah, and I think this is, there's clearly a case where in Germany and Sweden there are more, I think, rapes on women than in Muslim countries by Muslim immigrants. But I clearly understand what's happening is that these people come from like a conservative background, where maybe in Syria or in these countries, the women don't dress nakedly almost. And when they come here and they see it, it might be difficult for them. And their behavior is appalling. Obviously, rape is one of the worst crimes you can commit. But I understand the difficulty if you are brought up in a conservative, let's say, country, and you go here and you kind of are shocked that, oh my God, there's so much zina, so much things going on. Like, how can I contain myself? And maybe, you can't as a maybe a guy like that. And I'm not saying that what they're doing is okay. Don't take my words. They are definitely doing one of the worst crimes ever. But I understand the psychology behind it. So, yeah, that's kind of what's the problem we have. All right, let me go to some other. Assalamu alaikum, alaikum salam. Samira, what's going on? Shamil, can you speak Slovak? Yeah, sure. Why would I be offended? Of course I can. I'm from Slovakia. Assalamu alaikum, Zakaria. What's the question? The question was about women and how we see them here, but I think we should change subjects. But let me just go through the Assalamu alaikum, Shahid, through some of the thoughts you guys written here. I'm Nigerian, presently pursuing my PhD in Malaysia. Actually, the Chinese women dress half naked. Okay, nice. Well, yeah, I guess it's similar. It doesn't really matter if it's the West or China or Russia. It's the same idea. The UK is trying to become like the US in terms of diversity. Maybe. I have no idea, Adele. Have you thought about moving to an Islamic country? Well, Istanbul is a city in Turkey, so it's not a country. But yeah, but no, I'm not gonna move out. It doesn't make sense for me. Like, what would I do there? Just because the country might be Islamic, but it's still I don't think there's a big difference from what I've heard. I mean, I'm gonna go to Istanbul and see, but I think my sort of vision, I mean, it's gonna change obviously, but my vision is to bring Islam here and not to go to live in Turkey or something and just hide and pray there. Why would I do that? Like, until there's a situation where, let's say there's a law and they say all the Muslims, we're going to ship them away and they're going to be killed like Jews. That's when I would say, okay, it's time to pack up and time to bounce. But until that happens, I think I'm cool. And I think the biggest problem is that people don't understand Islam here. So since there's not many reverts who can really communicate the message clearly to these people, I think my job is actually more important to be here. But I definitely want to spend a few months outside, of course. But I don't think that I would go to Turkey and live there. Like, what would I do there? I mean, I can have my business set up here and everything, but it's just a totally different culture. You know, Islam is one thing, but I'm talking about culture, language, all these things. Why? My family's here. Everything is here, right? So that's my point. Yeah. And like, what's the point of going somewhere? Like, the point of dawah is to give dawah to non-Muslims. I mean, to Muslims maybe as well, but that's not my job. But the job of me as a revert is to do it to people who are in this context, because I know how they think and I know they are looking for Islam, many of them, but they can't find it. They're looking for sort of meaning beyond this material world, and there is one, but it's just not being communicated to them well, because the message can be the same. Like, why do you think there was so many prophets throughout the human history? It was the same message: worship one God. But nobody got that. Nobody really understood it. So there had to be hundreds of thousands of messengers who said the same thing: just worship one God, and still people wouldn't get it. So it's not about the message, really. It's not about just like Islam. It's about like, how do you communicate it? And that's the deal. Salam from Maldives. Hey, thanks, Subhail. That's crazy. You're in Maldives, man. That is a beautiful island, and yeah, I want to go there in the future. My brother-in-law got engaged in Maldives. That's crazy that you're in Maldives. In Egypt, there are almost 15 million Christians. We have the oldest churches in here. That's crazy. I didn't know that. I think in Egypt there's like 80 million people, right? It's majority Muslim, but 15 million Christians. It seems a lot. Well, if they practice Christianity, good for them. I mean, in Europe, nobody does that, so at least they go to church maybe. I live in Sweden, quite xenophobic and very segregated. Nice. Yeah, that's the case everywhere, I guess. What do you think is the best way you can adopt? You can adopt to change the non-Muslim community you live in or to be accepting of Islam. Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this a lot. Like, I was Googling around. And I think I'm going to meet a couple of really good dawah people to really look at statistics and science. Like, what do you think is the most effective way to do dawah? And so far, what I've learned, it's mostly your conduct and people you know. So let's say if I just at work, I don't eat or drink alcohol, and people ask me why I don't do that. Then I can just kind of hint like I'm a Muslim or something and don't do that. And it could be that way. Or, for example, we played football here, the Ummah with bros, and there were two Russian guys, non-Muslims, who we played against. And then we had to switch the field because they closed up one soccer field. So we had to go to another one, maybe 10 minutes of walking. And we were talking to the guys. They were like young, 17-year-olds. And he said, like, so you guys are all like here studying or working, and that's how you know each other? And he was talking in Czech language to me because the other ones are not from here. And I said, no, it's that we're all Muslims, and I'm a Muslim from Slovakia, and that's how we know each other, from a mosque. And he was like taken back, and I was like, yeah, I know it's weird, but that's kind of what it is. I mean, and I explained to him something. Then we played for 3 hours, maybe football, or 2 hours. and we got along really well. And then we got numbers, and we're gonna play again. So at least he can see, like, okay, these Muslims, they just play football like us. They just like normal people. They just don't drink or don't eat pork, and that's how you do it. I don't think there's like an effective way where you set up a stand and just talk to people. I don't think people want to hear that. People don't want to, people don't want those things. You need to go more subtle into that. I don't know. I'm just going to do more research, but that's what I believe. It's the most effective way. So you can't really do that. You can't really talk about Islam because it doesn't make sense. You have to show them the Islam. So you have to show them not drinking, or you have to show them how you pray, or you have to maybe tell them like, hey, did you know that in Islam we don't have interest on loans? So if you take out the loan, you don't pay the interest. Did you know that? Or maybe explaining to them, hey, actually in Islam we actually have Jesus, and he's like one of the main prophets. Did you actually know that? Just kind of like chatting about it like that, not like this is what Islam is, this is what's haram, halal. No one's going to listen to that. So you have to kind of pique the interest. It's like sales. It's what I'm doing in corporations. You don't go and sell. That's the opposite of sales. Sales is just like interest, question, problem, challenge, figuring out their problems, navigating through their psychology, questioning them again, and then presenting to them the product. But that's after you've done a ton of analysis. If you present the product too early, it will have the opposite effect than sales. It's going to be perceived as somebody forcing me onto something. So I know, because I was sold Islam, so I know how it happened. It takes years. Some people need years of discovery, so they finally are able to go. So yeah, I'm just thinking there must be a better way to make it to do dawah, to make it more sort of like specific, to make a specific effort or a program for dawah in these countries. And it has to be done by a local, because they understand the problems of the country. And so that will be my next move in the future, because I'm not planning to stay in Prague or Czech Republic and live here. I'm planning to move to Slovakia, which is my home, which is where I want to be. We already have some Islamic foundations there, but that will be kind of the main mission for my dunya, maybe, to try to establish maybe a dawah center, and just kind of like, maybe the most effective way is to really talk to the elites of the country, and I know some politicians and people in business, and maybe just doing like a seminar for them and telling them, hey, we're going to do a 1-hour seminar, and I'm going to teach you what is Islam, and not going to push anything. Just kind of say like, okay, this is Islam, this is what we worship, this is that, and it's just from a purely educational point of view, but it's done to the people who have power in the country. And as you know, Allah guides whom He wills. So if you have 20 people in the room, but they are all politicians or somebody with power, at least 1 or 2 of them is going to be interested, because it's impossible not to be. And then if that guy or woman converts or accepts Islam in whatever time, they can have a more effect on the society, because they are the elites. And that's kind of how it happened in Indonesia, where Islam was firstly introduced to people through the elites of the country and converted by kings. And so when the king converts, he builds a mosque, and that's kind of the easiest way to do it, from the top down. Now, if you don't have this access, then I think the best way to go about it is to people who are already searching for Islam. How do you find them? Easy. Who's thinking about death? So that's what that's what I was. But who's thinking about death? Prisoners. Go to prisons. You're gonna have a very high rate of acceptance of Islam. Okay, who else? Homeless people. Yes. People in hospitals. Yes. People who are very old. 80s, 70s, 90s. Yes. Those groups of people are actively facing death. So they will have more of an incentive to learn about Islam if you present it correctly. And you can have a very high reward not reward, but acceptance from those groups. Because if you go to normal population, if you're 20, 25, 30, I don't want to hear about Islam. I'm just enjoying my life. But if you have 70, 80 years old and you're gonna die soon, you might be looking for Islam. So those are the easiest groups, and I think that's what I would start. That's what I would start with. One, I'm thinking about it as a company, because I'm an entrepreneur, so we always do these campaigns, and I'm thinking about it like one campaign, one group of da'is, or the efforts will be targeting these groups with a different message, and going from the society, building up the support. The other group would be going to the elites with a more specific targeting, which is what we do as well. We have big corporations that we want to work with, and then we have all these small companies we also want to work with. So these companies get a different campaign than these top accounts, and then they kind of merge, and maybe in the future, in 10 years, suddenly there's 50,000 Muslims instead of 5,000. And maybe in the future, we have a law in place where we say, hey, everyone coming from Saudi, or like an immigrant, let's say, to Slovakia, will get some support, or there will be some like a visa exchange, or a government will make a deal with their government to exchange workers or anything. And then suddenly that's going to increase the population of immigrants as well. So we'll have immigrants and locals mixing it up. And then suddenly there's a first neighborhood built, and suddenly first halal shop, and suddenly we have a first mosque. Boom, man, we've done it. So it's like in 20 years, maybe that can be built. Suddenly you have institutions. Suddenly you have people who can teach in colleges Islam. Hey, not bad ideas. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of. There's many, but first I have to go through these books, because if I don't have knowledge, then what can I convey? I can convey the basics, but I need to be able to go advanced very quick. Sorry for being that long with my answer. Come to Maldives for your honeymoon. Are you paying for a plane ticket, man? I would go there. No, but it's too far. In the future, inshallah. Yes. You are correct. You are correct. And I mean, I'm not saying that Islam should be spread into the entire world and everybody will accept it. This is not the case. Even the Prophet had companions and his uncle, I think, who didn't accept Islam for 6 years. So it's like, if he can't convey dawah, then surely I can't do it as well. It's not going to be everybody, but it can be a large sample of population. That was one way to do it. The other way I'm thinking also is business, because if you have a direct impact on a civilization, let's say you build a hospital, people don't care it's built by Muslims. People care what can they do in that hospital. If you have a charity, if you have a homeless shelter, if you have a bank who supports people with loans without any interest, that would be interesting for people. Now, of course, in order to do this sort of business ventures, you would need to have partners from rich Muslim countries like Qatar or Saudi Arabia, who would supply the cash to people in here, to organization here, and create this startup ecosystem that is not really for Muslims, but really targeting non-Muslim communities. That's another way how to do dawah, where you build specific institutions or for not just Muslims. Like, you don't just build a Quran school, because it doesn't help the society. You build something where people, non-Muslims, can go and change their, something. So something really, really tangible, so that it can have an effect on their life. And that's kind of, again, dawah. You see, there's so many ways. So we need to think about it like that. And yeah. In the future, once I move to Slovakia, inshallah, I shall create this master plan. We'll see about that. And then, of course, I think people like doing debates and having online things and talking to people on the street, that's necessary as well, but it's not effective. It's not effective that much. So that would be like the last effort. You see how many efforts we have now? Who's going to do it now? That's the problem. Somebody has to. And I can't do it all. So I need some support. In the UK, we have Dawah stones, the president. Yeah. I know, and the UK is far advanced. The UK has the best dawah scene on planet Earth. I think much better than US or any other European country. So, and people are more open. People are coming to that because UK have a history of debatings, and it's a country. It's not really a Christian sort of country in a sense. It's more Anglo-Saxon. So they haven't really gone through the history of continental Europe. They have a kind of another way of thinking about things, and I think that's why UK is really powerful in that it can be one of the most important Muslim countries in the future who is non-Muslim. Yeah, Mohammed, but that's tough, you know. I think whatever I'm gonna do, we're still gonna not live in those societies. I'm not gonna probably want them to be there because who's gonna take care of them? I have my mother who can be her grandmother who can take care of them as well. So I need to look at it from that perspective as well, and have relationships within family. You know, look, children, whether you're in the West or in a Muslim country, they're gonna face trials and tribulations. Of course, it's gonna be bigger here, but those things that happen here are happening in a Muslim country as well. And maybe people over here can actually explain it more rationally to them, or maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong, but those things you can't put them in a box and think that they're not gonna be hurt. Or as a teen, oh man, they're gonna rebel. You know, I know my teen years, you know, what I was doing, and I expect my kids will not be the same, but will have the same thoughts. And I think you can't stop them from doing these things, and you have to build the basics. Anyways, I don't know what's gonna happen, so we'll see. Yeah, Ira is doing a good job. Yeah, Ira is great. Yeah, I want to talk to Hamza Tsortsis. I want to do an interview with him because he seems like a guy who's done this for many years, and he must have a lot of knowledge into dawah. Oh, thanks. I don't think it's superb. I think just like basics. In your opinion, what is easier for a Christian or an atheist to convert to Islam? Well, I have no idea. I think it's Christian, but it can be also tricky because Christian already recognizes that there is a God. And with an atheist, you have to come to conclusion that there must be a God. And that's going to be the majority of your conversation, just focused on the existence of God. So if you don't have philosophical background, if you can't really argument that well, because you can't use Quran, you can't use none of that because they don't accept this as evidence. You must just kind of go through the science and everything. And if you can't do that, you're going to have a hard time with an atheist. Christian already accepts that. You just have to kind of go through the Bible and that. So I would say Christian. It makes sense. Eternal challenge. I'm going to write it down, man. Another book that I have to read. I mean, it's not for me. I just want to know what they say in it, right? Because I want to increase my knowledge. I live in the US. Country is very open. There are all sorts of people, of course. I lived in the US as well. Yeah. But also there are some parts which are crazy. Assalamu alaikum. How are things? Things are good. Things are tough. Things are good. Things are tough. That's kind of the life. But it's good, alhamdulillah. Sapiens Institute is another great dawah. Yeah, I think they are together, right? Yeah. You see, but those things, like most of the people who go to these organizations, they are already Muslim. So I don't think they are really targeting non-Muslims. They are there to answer doubts and stuff. I'm not talking about this. I'm talking just basics. Oh, thanks, Sadaf. Thank you. You can invite dawah area in order to distribute material, not accepting just pure sensor. Yeah, but the thing is, like, we can distribute the who's gonna distribute the material? There are no people who will work on this, So we have just like nothing. We have the mosques, that's all. But people are not organized here. We don't have a specific goal. Even amongst us, there are different ideas sometimes. So, yeah, it's a problem. Target people is can I suggest from Belgium. His name is Steen. Let his follow him on. He do a lot. So okay, I'll check him out. EF Dawa does great online live streams to invite non-Muslims every week. Good stuff. Yeah, EF Dawa. Yeah, I watched some of the streams they do, like when they have to justify what they believe in, and then they tell them what's wrong with their belief. And I think that's a great way to do it. But again, we're talking about people who are already kind of ready to go there. This is like 0.0% of people, 0.1. To do dawah, this is not the most effective way, because you're doing it to people who are already kind of like in a certain mindset. Majority of people, 95%, are ignorant. They don't think about God. They don't need religion. They don't even think about anything besides their paycheck, their sex, or their family. This is the majority. This is the reality of dunya. This is the majority of people. They don't want to hear these things. So what do you do then? They're not going to listen to EF Dawa. They're not going to go on Sapiens Institute. They're not going to do those things. They're not going to even consider these things. That's how you have to look at it. So that's why I'm saying that the way I'm thinking about Dawa is a bit different. Because if you're already interested in Islam, or if you're already interested in debating, that's awesome. And those institutions are the best for that. They have the material, we have the proofs, we have everything for you laid out. If you're already researching, great. And I know, because when I was researching Islam, I went through EF Dawa, I went through Sapiens Institute, I watched some of the episodes when I had some questions about what's the age of Aisha, what's this, what's that. I was researching these things. So naturally, of course, those are great things, but I was already researching them. I was already understanding that I'm trying to find the truth within this Islam, and it's probably here somewhere. I just have to get through this barrier of information, but how many people like me exist in this country? 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 who are actively searching for religion? I don't think so. So that's the problem, right? From 11 million, 10,000 is this. What about the 11 million? Who's targeting them? No one. That's what I would focus on. Also, then support for Muslims, Muslim reverts. Like if you come here and you become a Muslim, it's going to be more difficult than if you would be a Muslim in some other country. And there's no support here. So what do? We need some program for people who, when they accept Islam, they are supported and they are not being targeted with haram stuff. This is like the worst thing. Like, let's say somebody accepts Islam, they have a girlfriend, and you say to them, you now have to get rid of her. Like, well, come on, bro. Like, they're just gonna get rid of Islam because you are taking one of the main identities from them. Like, you can't do that. You have to stop drinking. This is not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Maybe, but it's not gonna happen. Let's face it. Quran was rebuilt for 23 years. This is how you should think about it. These reverts will have a process which is more difficult than everything because they're changing their identity. I'm still in the process. After 6 months of practicing Islam, I'm still sometimes, I still know what I am sometimes, if I'm a Muslim or not Muslim, but I am a Muslim. But sometimes I'm still like, what is this? So it's going to take me years to really finally get full grips on my Muslim identity. And how many people have time to think like that? Most people accept Islam and they want quickly what's going to happen. And nothing's going to happen, right? So you need support groups then. So you have different levels of dawah. And then you have Muslims, like born Muslims, who then apostate. And then you have to and you have to have a support for doubts. So that's what these institutes are doing, to help them figure out, okay, how do you balance feminist idea with Islam? What's more important? How do you navigate these difficult questions of free will versus determinism? What about, why is there evil in the world? How do you explain that? Maybe a born Muslim was a Muslim, and then he read atheist book, and now he says, oh, I'm an atheist, I don't want to follow Islam. So that's important, and I think those organizations are the bedrock of that, and I think that's what we got covered. That's what we are covering. And of course there's an active attack on Islam. You don't have to, on all of us there's an attack, not just physically in Palestine or in China, but there's an attack on the ideology, on Islam, on a religion. Every day we're portrayed negatively. So that's another thing. So there's many battles to be won within this information warfare. This is information warfare, because in the past, when you conquered certain people, they would then receive a new information with new revelation or new way of thinking about things. And okay, good. So that was the point of protecting your society and stuff from these things, because they wouldn't have access to the information that the other society has, right? But now this doesn't matter. This doesn't even make sense, because you can go online and you can be, you can have any ideology explained to you. So what do you do now? I know, because I looked into all of them, that Islam is the truth. But you have to have a lot of time and research to do this, and most people won't. So if they are kind of like, let's say they discover, I don't know, what philosophy, they read Nietzsche or they read some other philosopher, and they say, well, this makes more sense than Islam, because maybe it does in a certain way. Then they go with that, but they didn't really research it thoroughly. So that's why protecting now is more, it's an information war. There's a lot of battles to be won. Oops, sorry for burping. And those battles are being covered by many Muslims, scholars, ulama, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's kind of taking it. But here we have a huge funnel of people who can embrace Islam, because when Islam was spreading to the east, to the Indonesia and Pakistan and Iran and all these places, how many millions of Muslims are now there? And imagine how many are in the West. Islam didn't spread into West. It was then, it's spread now there because of immigration. But how many people are open to Islam here? Many. How many people live in the West? 1 billion, 2 billion? I don't know. But let's say it's a large, like 1/3 of the planet lives in the West. 1/4, I don't know. How many of them can become Muslim? So many, if we present Islam correctly. Because it has to be presented differently in China or somewhere. And so in the East, it's already, or Africa, it's already kind of like established, but we need to do something in the West. That's my thought. Man, I'm just venting here. What's going on? There's too much heat today. Oh man, that's a great idea. Build an orphanage. That's a great idea, man. That's a great idea. And this is what Christians are doing, actually. That's why they are successful. Build an orphanage. You see, I'm gonna put it as an idea. And if I build an orphanage in the future, I'm gonna give you a call. I haven't thought about this, because we don't really have many orphans. I mean, there are some orphans, definitely, but yeah, I would definitely go for this. That's a great idea. It's a mix of non-governmental work mixed with business and politics, and we don't have Muslims in any of these things. I'm a business Muslim. Then I would like to be also non-NGO Muslim and politic Muslim. Maybe it's not, but we need Muslims in all of these spheres of life. Yeah. Well, I think they go to Africa, Philippines, places like that, which haven't been exposed to Islam, and that's great. I'm focused more on the West, which already is like tired of atheism. Yeah, I agree with you, Mohammed. That's what I'm planning to do. I still have time. My kids they don't even exist. If Allah allows them to exist, then we'll see. Yes, yeah, exactly. Area is built for those things, but not here. Nobody knows area here. Like we don't speak English. You have to recognize this. So then, that's another issue. Nice. Yeah, I mean, if he accepts, I've emailed him, so we'll see if he accepts. I know he's a busy guy, but I would love that. Yes, in Africa. In Africa. Got it. Man, those are great ideas. Great idea, Ahmed. Yes. What do you think of Muslim social media? Do you mean like YouTube channels, Muslim YouTube channels, or what? I think they're okay. I mean, I wouldn't watch them if I wasn't a Muslim. That's how I would put it. So if you're not a Muslim, I wouldn't watch them. I watched one guy, Mohammed Hoblos, this guy is the best in giving dawah because he can, if you are already kind of thinking about the purpose of your life, he can like take it out on you, and he can like really drill down the purpose and everything into you if you're open to it. He's great. But not many are like him. Otherwise, I think it's fine. I mean, it's like everything else. Yeah, Instagram app for Muslim. Maybe. I mean, what I hate is apps, and I work with startups, and I have software. We implement software, Salesforce. I don't like technology that much, to be honest. I don't think an app is gonna help this ummah in any way, shape, or form. I think it's something more tangible. But maybe I'm wrong. Again, I'm just a guy online. But guys, this has been great live stream. I think we had a lot of great ideas here. It's been almost 1 hour. I'm gonna go into the park to do some workouts with one of my guys in the Ummah here. And yeah, this week is gonna be really busy with a lot of business things. And then 1st of July, I'm in Istanbul. I'm gonna record some travel vlogs from Hagia Sophia, inshallah. So that's gonna be interesting. Again, recommendation: get this book, Muhammad. Good book. I'm gonna always do some recommendations, so we'll see. The Ottomans used to take children from Christian background and beat them. Yeah, I know this happened in Bosnia, right, as well. Well, you can't do that anymore, obviously. So you have to think about it in the kind of information warfare sort of dialogue nowadays. Anyways, guys, it was a pleasure to be here. Enjoy your Sunday. Have a great weekend. And we shall meet again next week, inshallah, and talk about something else. Thank you, and I'll see you next week, inshallah. See you later. Bye-bye.